Good evening and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing T Street. Tonight I'm going to tackle a topic, and yes, this is not my normal night. I probably will do several this week. In the time of the coronavirus, people have asked me to be a little bit more intentional about reaching out and making connections for people. And so I went online and asked folks on all of my platforms what topics they would like me to cover in this season. And so tonight I'm going to address a topic that someone on Instagram asked me to cover, which is around self-forgiveness. And so I'm titling tonight's talk, Forgive You. Forgive You. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not a therapist. I don't play one on TV. I am a motivational speaker. I'm clear about who I am. I'm driving my car in my lane. And so when I share experiences and things with you, it's from a personal perspective. It's not from a clinical or a therapeutic perspective. But if it worked for you, let it work for you. I'm just saying. So anyway, tonight's topic, forgive you. The first thing I want to say is one of the hardest parts about the concept of self-love is learning how to let go of the things and the mistakes that we've made in our past. And a part of that is kind of arrogant to not forgive yourself, is assuming that you are perfect. Because once you realize that you're not perfect, just as no one else is perfect, you really do have a better sense of yourself. But when you walk around expecting perfection from you, it's no wonder that you have a hard time forgiving you. Part of learning how to love yourself unconditionally without apology means learning how to love. I love my talents. I love the things that are my giftings. I think that I'm funny. I think that I'm smart. I think that I am caring and compassionate. Those are some of my best qualities. But I also know that I've got a sharp tongue that's not always tempered. Sometimes I am a little moody because I, like a whole lot of folks, battle depression. And so some of those things aren't the things that I love most about myself, but when I love me unconditionally and without apology, I've learned to understand that that's a part of the sum of who I am. Now, that's controversial. People will say, well, if you don't like some things about you, you should change it. Well, some things are just who I am, and some things are things I can change, and I've worked hard over the years to change some things that I can change. One thing I'm really clear about is, unfortunately, none of the things from my past can I change. I can't change one single mistake from my past. Not one thing that I did in the past, becoming a juvenile delinquent, upsetting my family, totally turning everything topsy-turvy in my own life. None of those things are things over which I have any control. Now, I could spend the rest of my life punishing myself for that, but for what? Guilt is such an unproductive emotion. It doesn't produce life. And so for me, one of the things I had to do was to accept the fact that there was nothing I could do about the things that I had done in the past, except one, ask for forgiveness and keep it moving. I asked for forgiveness from the people that I hurt, but I also asked me for forgiveness. And the day that I decided that I wasn't going to hold on to all of the things that I had done in my past was a very freeing day for me. It allowed some of the weights that had been holding me down. It was like shackles were broken. I dog double dare you to release yourself from the shackles of the past. I say this all the time, that if you're holding on to your past with both hands, there's no way you can truly grasp with both hands what your present and what your future hold for you. So my encouragement to you as you learn how to forgive yourself is to just accept that you made mistakes in the past and to keep it moving. The next thing is just to allow yourself to be imperfect. Allow yourself to be human. That doesn't mean that you stay stuck in those places and that you keep doing the same thing over and over again, because there's a difference between a mistake and a habit. If you make a mistake, it happens once, maybe twice, but over and over and over again becomes a habit. And so you have to ask yourself, what am I doing that I should stop if I want a different outcome or a different result? And then I would say, go back and make things right. Make things right with yourself. Make things right with other people. And once you've done that, even if other people can't let it go, don't allow what they hold as the noose to be what you hold as the noose around your neck, because all you can do is your very best to make amends for the past. And if other people can't accept that, that's not really on you, because the moment that you make amends, that you ask for forgiveness, and you turn around and change the behavior that was there, that's all you can really do. And so part of forgiving yourself is saying, I can't carry other people's beliefs, weights, and concerns about who I am. Most people who know me know I say, what you think of me is none of my business. That's between you and your self-esteem. And finally, I would say, did you grow? Have you grown from the mistakes that you made? When I made some really horrific mistakes in my past, one of the things I committed to was, one, not being that same person in my future, and two, using my past as a roadmap, particularly for young people who are headed down the same pathways, so that I can help steer them in a different direction. Those are the things that I did that made me truly know that I had grown and that I had learned some lessons from the mistakes that I had made of the past. And once I realized that I was no longer the same person that I was when I was a teenager, or even in my early 20s, I let go and I just learned how to be kind to T. I'm very forgiving of other people. Someone asked my son once what was something that would surprise people about me, and what was one of the things he liked most about me. He said, my mom doesn't stay angry long. She can be mad today and tomorrow she won't even remember why she was angry at me. And it's because every day I get new mercies, and so I try to pass those on to other people. Why not pass some of those new mercies on to you? Surely you are as worthy of forgiveness as the people that you have forgiven. One of the things I say to people is, what made me stop beating up on myself is when I loved me enough to get out of a domestic violence situation. When I got out of that situation, I said, just like I didn't deserve to be beaten by someone else, I don't deserve to flog myself over mistakes of my past. And if I'm doing that, it may not be because I don't want to be forgiven. It may be because I'm a little, masochistic. And once I give up masochism for Lent, I no longer walk in holding on to the mistakes of my past. I walk differently by forgiving myself, recognizing that my flaws are as much a part of my personality and the whole and the sum of who I am as my talents and my gifts. And I've learned how to love them all. So how do you forgive yourself? By simply saying, I made a mistake, and I'm going to love me just like I love you. When you make a mistake, I'm going to love me just as much. I'm the amazing T Street. I can assure you there is absolutely, positively nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. I charge and I challenge you to walk in your own amazing. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Coffee with T. Have a good evening.